Hello, everyone, and welcome to Boom in the Room, immersive audio video channel. I decided to start off with my first video for my channel showing my downstairs audio system. My main speakers I have owned for over 20 years. I own some other brands from Klipsch. I've had some soliloquy speakers, which were also designed by the designer of these speakers. The speakers you see in front here are AAD Q series speakers. The tower speakers are AAD Q50s. That was the largest tower they made in this particular series. They also made the Q40 and the Q30 in the towers. The Q50 has dual 12-inch bass drivers for the low frequency section. So that's 412s in the two towers. It also has two 6.5 drivers, and it's flanked in the middle by a dome titanium tweeter. These speakers are tri-wireable. That means you can wire an amp or multiple amps to the high, mid, and low frequencies. And in the center, you see there two Q20C center channel speakers. The C, I guess, is just for designation as magnetically shielded, but they can be used in other configurations. Right now, I'm using them for centers. They're the same speaker. It's a very large center channel, and it goes down apparently to around 40 hertz. So that's my front channel system. And other videos, we'll talk more about these speakers, go in detail about how they're built. They're very, very heavy. So the Q50s weigh about 162 pounds a piece. So that's about, I think, around 72 kilograms, but very, very large, very, very heavy. And they stand about, I'm about 5'7", and they stand about to my chin. So I think they're like 48 inches in height. So a very large and powerful studio monitor speaker. In fact, when these were built, they were used in different studios for monitoring. And I can go into some of that later. That information came from the designer of these speakers. His name is Phil Jones. Phil Jones, not of Pioneer, but Phil Jones of Phil Jones Bass. Very famous speaker designer. Worked for Boston Acoustics. I think Platinum Audio has put out some world-renowned speakers and speaker designs. In fact, some of his designs, I believe, are now an edifier, but he's done a lot of stuff, and a great guy to talk to and talk about. He knows a lot about speaker design. But these are some older speakers, but in great condition. I love them. I feel I don't need anything else as far as a tower speaker. And just moving around, giving you a picture of my amp setup right now. I own a fair amount of amps, but right now I have my Q50s and the Q20s. Also, over here, I have the Q10s, which is the bookshelf speaker in this particular make. They're fairly large bookshelf speakers. Apparently go down to around 45 hertz or so. So they're put out some good bass. They're sitting on their AED stands. Very nice speaker. I have them right now bi-amped. Over there in the corner is the Q10 subwoofer. Very large. It has two 10s in it. Unfortunately, one woofer is blown, I believe, right now. And I've looked for replacements, and I've sent emails to AED and got a response that replacing the two 10s would work out for this. The challenge is finding the right 10s to do the job and to fit in the front baffle. But this is a very large subwoofer, about 110 pounds. And it goes down to like 10 hertz, apparently, with the box design. So I want to get a sub that actually will give me the output that this sub was supposed to do. It's got a 7-band equalizer built in. You can bypass it if you want. But yeah, it's a monster of a subwoofer. Before the other monster subwoofers came out on the market, this was a monster that preceded those large ones out now. Anyway, just moving real quickly over here to my digital setup. Unfortunately, I don't have a really good CD transport or CD player right now, so I'm using an old Sony Blu-ray player. It does the job, it just doesn't do it great. But anyway, I use for my main head unit a Datasat RS20i. For anyone that is not familiar with the Datasat brand or the RS20i, the RS20i was the premier home theater 2-channel digital processor that came out around 2014, I think. This thing was the beast. Everybody wanted it. Unfortunately, around 2017, Datasat sold themselves out to ATI and kind of let this brand die a little bit. But anyway, if you find one of these on the internet between $3,000, $4,500, keep searching. But if you find it and you have the money for it, buy it. You won't be disappointed. It has a lot of features. It runs Direct Live and Direct Live 2, or what they call just Direct 2. It's a really good processor. So we can talk more about that in the future. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of videos about this particular processor on the web, especially on YouTube, but it has a lot of features. It's very, very powerful, decodes sound very well. We can talk about that in future videos. Sitting on top of that is my other Datasat processor, but this is actually the Barco AP24. If you're familiar with immersive surround, one of the first immersive surround formats to come out, even before Dolby Atmos, was Auro 3D. It's a European brand of immersive audio, but search the web for an individual called Wilfred van Balen with Auro 3D. He was the inventor and owner of Auro 3D until they sold the company to I think it's the Stafford brand, but I'm not for sure. But anyway, now the company is New Auro. However, you can learn a lot from him. He was an excellent guy to explain the format. Unfortunately, he's not involved with the day-to-day operations of the new company, but just an awesome guy who did a lot of work to try to bring immersive sound to the masses without making it difficult to do. We can talk more about this processor in the future, but this is the premier Auro 3D processor. This was the commercial product that they put in the theaters. It does Auro 3D and applies Auromatic to other PCM channels that are run into it through HDMI to expand it out into a 3D format in the Auro 3D format. But it applies it with a lot more commercial horsepower, processing power, and full dynamic range, which makes a difference when you listen through a commercial processor in comparison to a consumer processor. Consumer processors do not put out usually the processing power or the voltage needed to push the dynamic range of your speakers to commercial theater levels. But anyway, this is This is an awesome processor. If you see one and you can get it for a deal, they popped up on eBay, and I currently have this one, which is the one I bought years ago. I actually went to Belgium and visited the Oro company, Galaxy Studios. Had a tour of that. It was an awesome experience. Great. Europe is a great place to visit. Belgium is a great place to visit. Barco is an awesome company. They were involved in audio a long time ago, but as far as bringing Oro to the masses, they really didn't do the greatest job. But they built some of the best commercial projectors on the planet. So if you go into a theater and there's laser projection, most likely it's a Barco projector. But anyway, we can talk more about this processor in future videos. And just to give you a quick look at my amp setup down here, I have a couple of my California Audio Technology, or CAT amps. And sitting on top of that is an ADA 8150 amplifier, PTM 8150, 8-channel amplifier. Currently, I use these 3 amps to buy and tri-amp my tower speakers, my center, and my bookshelf. So right now I'm running just with this setup. The bottom amplifier has 7 channels by 250 watts a channel. The one sitting on top of that is a 2-channel, 300 watts a channel and 8 ohms. And then the 8150 sitting on top of it, that's of course 8 channels. So all in total, around 17 channels that I can play with. And this is just the amps I have active here. I have other amplifiers that I picked up over the years. In fact, a couple of those amplifiers are sitting over there in the corner. Just to walk over here very briefly. These amplifiers are not in service right now because they're 220 volt amplifiers. The ones you see on the bottom are 2 CAT amplifiers. One's the CAT Monaco. That's like 600 watts per channel into 2 channels. And then the one sitting beside it came out of the home theater of the year, I think, back in, I can't remember, 2007 or something. But that's a CAT branded amplifier built by ADA. And the ones sitting on top of them are also ADA sub amplifiers. They're 110 volt amplifiers. The base module is sitting on top of the 2 larger CAT amps. Both of these CAT amps are very, very heavy. 120 pounds, 130 pounds, 140 pounds. They are very, very heavy. On top of those, of course, are the ADA PBA 2000 subwoofer amplifiers. We'll talk about them in a future video, but if you see them as well on the used market, go ahead and buy them. You can get them for cheap. Of course, the amps that are sitting on the bottom, they are not cheap, but I picked them up for a good deal years ago. I've owned some of those amplifiers for a very long time, or all of them for a very long time. And we'll talk more about those in a future video. And over here in the corner, these are 2 bass module, low frequency modules that belong to my QSC screen channels. Right now I had to park these in the corner. They're dual 15-inch subwoofers that go down, I think, to like 25 hertz. High-powered boxes. They're very large. They all actually have a high frequency and mid frequency horn setup that goes on top of each of these. So I have 3 of these 2 subwoofer boxes, and then on top of that, two very large high frequency, mid frequency horn compression drivers that, well, actually coaxial drivers, but anyway, that goes on top of these. These are part of the QSC premium screen channel setup. So if you go to a theater that basically has room behind the screen, these are almost the best you'll get from their setup. I mean, they will push a lot of sound into an area. Eventually these will come out of here. They're part of my outdoor experience business that I'm trying to do. But that's a work in progress. But anyway, just to give a little bit of a history of my equipment. This is just a small sample size of what I have. I've been collecting stuff for a long time, and these were sitting in boxes for over 10, 12 years. I brought them out and set them up, and just trying to enjoy them now. Hopefully educate some people on these great speakers, some of the amplifiers. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get good sound. You just got to be patient and understand that, you know, the newer technology is nice, but some high quality equipment was built in the past that you can buy and build your system around for pennies of what you would have normally paid in the past for them. And, you know, enjoy what you love, which is hopefully audio. Anyway, this is just a little video. I'm sorry it's almost 18 minutes long, but I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to filming the next video and bringing it to you guys. Thanks.